All right. It's all you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Mccauley. I'm a Senior Director of Community Wealth Building at Nexus Community Partners. Really happy to be here with each of you this evening. Just wanted to go through some hospitality things for Zoom. We do have the closed captioning enabled, so if you need that, go ahead and hit that CC button and the caption should pop up for you. Also, just as a heads up, we will be recording this webinar tonight so that in case you have to step away before it's over, or if there's other people that you'd like to share the webinar with, we will have a recording available for each of you. I'm happy to be here with my colleagues tonight, Olivia, Shireen, Lavasha, and Dawaba. You'll get a chance to hear from each of us as we spend some time together tonight to let you know about some more information about the Open Road Fund for 2024. We are truly, truly excited to be announcing the opening for the Open Road Fund for 2024 with you all. Nexus was chosen to be the stewards of this fund by the Bush Foundation and a community panel put together by the Bush Foundation. And that was announced in December 2021. We then spent the next 18 months doing design and infrastructure and community engagement and outreach work to create the Open Road Fund. And we launched the fund for the very first time in June of 2023. And this year we will be reopening it on June 19th, 2024. We've worked with some really incredible partners throughout this process, and we'll tell you a little bit more about them in just a few moments. Our agenda for the evening is to give you some more background about the Open Road Fund, introduce you more deeply to our team, let you know about our values, what we believe in, and then this definition of Black wealth that was created throughout our engagement process, and what the Open Road Fund is really, that's our foundation, is this definition of Black wealth. Give some more information about who this fund is for, and then importantly, how the fund works and how the fund goes on to support wealth building. We'll also be providing some really important updates to the 2024 application. We've made some improvements to the application from the 2023. We'll give you some more information about the results of the 2023 Open Road Fund, and then we'll do a live demo of the 2024 application. And then we'll move into a Q&A where you all will be able to use the Q&A function in the webinar to be able to ask some questions about the application or about the program as we move forward. So more about the fund. This fund is really a way for Black folks to get more free. It's about forging paths toward liberation on roads paved by our ancestors. The Open Road Fund is a community resource stewarded by Nexus. The fund is awarding $50 million in grants to Black people living in Minnesota and North and South Dakota, who are the descendants of African people that were enslaved in North, Central, and South America and the Caribbean. These grants are not reparations. They are a Black community-led initiative to redistribute resources for economic stability and wealth building. The Open Road Fund is an opportunity for Black folks from all walks of life to seek pathways towards wealth, healing, prosperity, and self-determination on our own terms. There is a racial wealth divide in the United States. Most of us here tonight probably know that. Whether that's what we call it or not, we've experienced it. In the United States, between Black and white households, this divide was created by longstanding practices of economic, physical, and legal violence against people of African descent. The racial wealth divide began with enslavement and has been maintained through the new Jim Crow. New Jim Crow being just the different ways that we are racially divided, including through the incarceration, prison system, redlining, and many other ways. Despite legal reforms in the 1870s, 1960s, and 1970s, the divide has continued to grow. The purpose of the Open Road Fund is to assist as many Black families in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota as we can over the next 7 years to close the racial wealth divide. We do so by supporting Black people's projects to build personal, family, and community wealth. This is our team. And I think this is yours, Lavasha, right? Okay.
So this is our team. This one's me. I thought I was advisory, but it's good. We're all here mostly tonight. Rapah, who's our leader of Nexus. He also works closely with us on the fund as well. And then as we mentioned, Danielle, senior director, myself, I'm the program manager. Duaba, Olivia, and Shireen are here tonight. And we also wanted to make sure that we acknowledge Taiwana, who was also an important part of the fund, who was the previous program associate to help build and shape the program as well. And so this is our advisory committee. As we mentioned, we have some partnerships and we don't do this work alone. And the advisory committee consists of 14 members as of now, who are community members throughout the region of the fund. So Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. The advisory committee, almost done. The advisory committee started off with just 11 members back in 2022. So they've kind of been with us since the beginning, helping us to shape, design, and support the fund. Some of the things that they've done was help us to collaborate with Research and Action on our research and evaluation work. So that looks like helping us to shape and design our Black Wealth Survey, as well as advocating for a longitudinal study. They've also done things like helping us to co-create the eligibility criteria, renaming the fund, helping us to define our Black wealth definitions, reviewing applications, and then also serving at different community events and helping us to build community. And then this is our research team, Research and Action. Dr. Brittany Lewis is leading the work for Research and Action. And this is a Black-led, women-led research firm. And again, I mentioned some of the things that they're doing as far as helping us with the longitudinal study, which is going to help us measure the impact of the program over the next 8 years. So they're going to be following 25 participants or awardees from year 1 and then 25 from year 2, and kind of following their progress and seeing the impact of how the funds impacted their life to help us be able to tell our story and yeah, give feedback. Does anybody else want to add anything about Research and Action? And then Yates Creative, they're located in the Bay Area, but again, they are also Black-led. They've helped us work on our design. So a lot of the graphics that you see, a lot of the color and the branding, they've also helped us work on our guiding principles, which is kind of how we ground ourselves in our work and what we believe in and our values. And they also helped us with some of the talking points, the FAQ, and they're also going to be helping us to kind of tell our story on the staff side of like what the work is like and how we can communicate that with community. So you'll kind of see some of that coming up as well.
Too fast. Go back one more. There we go. Okay, so now that we shared a little bit about our organization and our full team, we just wanted to share more about what we believe, how we define Black wealth and community wealth building, and also share some highlights with y'all about the first year of grant making in 2023 for the Open Road Fund. So just to start with what we believe that many paths can lead us to our destiny, and that when we're faced with barriers, we can call upon our ancestors to guide us on the open road to liberation. In honor of the resiliency and communal spirit of our ancestors, the Open Road Fund intends to heal generations of economic inequality and systemic obstacles to Black wealth building in our region. And our goal is to redistribute resources to 800 Black households, 800 Black individuals knowing that when our people attain wealth, we often open the road to greater abundance for all of our people, our kinfolks, our communities, friends, and those that are newcomers to the region as well. So that's the belief that our program is founded upon. And so as for how we define Black community wealth, for us and for almost 1,000 people from across the region that we were connected with through the efforts of Research in Action and our team, we created this collective definition of Black wealth based on those conversations with folks in community. And where we landed at is that Black wealth, of course, is about financial resources, assets, capital, but Black wealth is also about liberation and freedom. Black wealth is about freedom from dependency upon a society that has produced anti-Black oppression and robbed Black people of our creativity. Attaining Black wealth is about restoring what has been stolen, rebuilding our communities, reclaiming our rights to self-determination. We believe that's our ancestral birthright, and by reclaiming it, we seek healing and rejuvenation from loss and denial of our ancestral connections to Africa, of our familiar connections here in the diaspora where we've been dispersed and displaced to, and also of our sacred traditions rooted in love of self, family, and our communities. And so by reclaiming our sovereign rights to control our lives, what we produce, what we build, what we invent, we exercise our freedom. We do so to build and resource the institutions, tools, and knowledge that will enrich the next generations of Black people to come through us. And we do so to exercise our power to determine the quality of the life we deserve and the services that we'll provide ourselves to attain it. So for us, Black wealth is liberation, restoration, freedom, and creativity, all of which comes with reclaiming our mind, body, and soul. Black wealth is about healing from ancestral disruption and present day displacement. Black wealth is about exercising our right to self-determination through ownership of what we produce for our families and for our communities with our creativity and love. So that is a little bit about what we believe and how we define wealth. And what we would like to share with y'all now is how we did in year one of the program. So some of you may have seen our report on our website. It's called The First Steps on the Open Road. It was compiled by Research in Action, our evaluation partners. And so in 2023, we distributed gifts of $50,000 to 99 Black folks across urban and rural Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Unfortunately, one applicant dropped out in the middle of the process. And so in this year of 2024, we will distribute 101 awards. About 11,000 people applied. 88% of all applicants were from the Twin Cities Metro, which is where the majority of our population as a community lives. Across our region, there are almost 470,000 of us who are descendants of African people. And so most of us live here. And in the interest of equity and supporting folks across our region, because that's our mandate, in 2023, we distributed 50% of the awards to our folks who are in the Twin Cities Metro region, and we distributed the remaining 50% to all of our folks living in Greater Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. The majority of applicants in 2023 were people who identified as women and people who self-identified as making less than $35,000. And then another aspect of our grant making program is that when you are selected for an award, you have the opportunity to both gift and receive a portion of your award, up to $10,000, to another finalist who has been selected to support them on their path towards building wealth. And in that process, gift recipients of the Open Road Fund redistributed about $17,000 to one another to support each other in their wealth building projects. So that is a snapshot from 2023. And now what we'd like to tell you a little bit about after we share about this glyph is how the application process works. So the symbol that you see here in the center is a glyph that we created to represent visually our grant program. This glyph is called Ngem, and it is Igbo for journey. And the glyph stands for a proverb. The proverb is, all paths lead to our destiny, but some paths are longer than others. What we should want for one another is the most clear and easy path to our destiny. And we should create for one another a blessed and easy journey from birth back to creation. And so this symbol in the proverb speaks to the intent that we hold this work with. And it also speaks to the success and the ease in this journey that we want for all of you and all of the people who are coming through us as we work together, and also as you all apply for the Open Road Fund. So now I'm gonna pass it to you, Olivia.
Hey, y'all. So this is for Black people. The Open Road Fund makes gifts of $50,000 to Black people descended from African people who were enslaved in the Americas. Eligible applicants self-identify as Black, are at least 14 years old, and reside in Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, or any of the 23 Native nations whose territories are occupied by those states. During the application process, we ask applicants to provide some information about their ancestry and family history. We trust you to provide the most accurate information that you can based on what you know about who you are descended from. So to be really clear about that, we're not asking you to identify your enslaved ancestor. We're not asking you to tell us what the name of the boat was. We don't need any of that. We just want to know how you know that you are descended of enslaved African people. Okay. And so we made some updates to the application this year, so it will be different, specifically for people who applied last year, you'll notice. So we made the questions easier to answer, and we have made the application shorter. People applying as a group can now apply on the same application instead of having to link together. We require all applicants to submit identifying documents to discourage fake applications, and we accept a lot of different ID types. You guys will see that if you go to the website, there's lots, and if you don't have one of our primary documents, you can do 2 secondary documents. I'm not going to get into all of them right now, but there's lots of options, so it shouldn't be too discouraging. We ask about life experiences to better understand if we're reaching our full community. So when you go through the application, like we're about to go through, you'll see it'll ask things like, are you a single parent? Have you ever experienced homelessness? These aren't used to choose applicants, and they're not going to be used to not choose people who have had these life experiences. We just want to make sure that we're reaching the people that we should be reaching. So please choose when you go through it. And if you are selected for a gift from the Open Road Fund, please prepare by opening a bank account. If you don't already have one, we can't distribute funds to Venmo, Cash App, Chime, or PayPal. Last year, we noticed that they just can't take them. So then people had a bunch of problems on the back end. So we're just letting you guys know right up front, you have to have a bank account, and it does have to be in your name if you are 18 or older. You'll also need to submit 2 letters of support. And that's, again, only if you're chosen as a recipient of the gift. So these letters need to be no longer than a page. They must be written by Black community members. And one of them can be your relative, but one of them needs to not be your relative. And again, we include more detailed information about that, as well as the IDs on the website. How the fund works. So to participate in the Open Road Fund, you first have to fill out a registration application. We'll ask you to share about your background, ancestry, and for you to tell us what kind of wealth building projects you'd like to start with a gift of $50,000. You may apply as an individual or a group, and the groups can be up to 5 people. You cannot do both, so you can't apply as a group and then also as an individual. Once you submit your registration application, our team is going to review all of the applications submitted for completion and quality. And if you do that, then we will select at random 101 applicants to make gifts for this year, 2024. Our advisory committee and Black staff at Nexus will review all selected applicants to make sure they are truly eligible and have a wealth building plan that aligns with our values. Finalists selected for a gift from the Open Road Fund will then be asked to fill out a second application that is detailing the wealth building project. After the project is approved, we distribute everybody's gifts before the end of the year. And then how we support wealth building. So gifts from the Open Road Fund may be used to support wealth building projects that align with one of the 5 wealth building project categories. So we have financial well-being, projects that create stability and relief from economic hardships through increasing savings, investments, and more. Economic power are projects that create ownership of businesses, capital, assets, equipment, software, and cooperatively owned businesses. Education, so projects that build wealth by increasing knowledge through degrees, certifications, licenses, and acquiring new skills. And there's housing, so projects that include purchasing a family home, rehabbing or improving existing housing to increase equity. And then lastly, we have health and healing, so projects that help people rest, travel, pursue creative projects, learn about their heritage, or cover medical care. And there you go, Dee.
Okay. So before we go into the demonstration of the application, we just want to let y'all know that the application will be open at 9 in the morning on Juneteenth Day, June 19th, and that the application will close this year on July 19th at 11:59 p.m. So please write the link down that you see here. We'll also put it in the chat towards the end of the session. But you can learn more. There's frequently asked questions. There's more details about every aspect of what we've shared with y'all so far on our website. You can also find on the website, on the homepage for the Open Road Fund, our questions for what will be on the application this year so that you can prepare for it in advance. And if you need any other support, feel free to reach out to us through our email, which is also on our website. So now what I want to do is I'll take over sharing the screen and I will show you all what the application for this year looks like and just give you a little bit of a preview. So just give me 1 second to get set up. Okay. All right, is everybody able to see? Okay, perfect. So when you are finally able to access the Open Road Fund application, you'll notice that we have videos and we have text. The videos here are interpreted into American Sign Language by our friends from the Minnesota Deaf Muslim community. The interpreter here is Dr. Regina, who is one of the first Black deaf women in the state of Minnesota to get a PhD. She was really excited to help our deaf folks and kinfolk and community by interpreting the questions. The questions are also read by Nexus staff, and there are also captions in the video if you would prefer to have somebody read the questions aloud for you while you're working through the different responses that you may have. So these videos are here for your ease and accessibility. And this first page that you land on will have everything that you need to know about who is eligible. It will share what we shared here about what we mean by wealth building, and maybe this will give you some ideas for what your potential wealth building project could be. We talk about the wealth building categories again here on this main page. If you want to check out the questions before you apply, there's an easy to access link right here on the home page. We also have the ability to save applications through the software that we use. And so there's a video, text that will talk you through how to do it. And I'll also show you how right now. So whenever you start the application and as you work through it, we always want to encourage you to save frequently and often, because we would hate for you to lose any of the progress that you make on the application. And you have the ability to save your application up until you finally submit. So to do that, all you need to click is this button right here at the top of the screen that says Save My Progress and Resume Later. And then here you would enter your email. So I'm just going to type in the support email for the Open Road Fund, which is orfsupport@nexuscp.org. Type in a password that you can easily remember. I would also encourage you to write your password down. And it's going to ask you to confirm your password just to make sure that you typed in everything right. And if you don't type it in right like I did, then it's going to tell you, and it's going to ask you to retype it. So let me make sure I do it right this time. All right, so I'll click save. And then if I try to type in something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's going to tell me that that's not secure enough. So I got to type in something more, a little more secure. So let me try something like this. Then I click save. And then the page is going to load and it's going to take you to this screen that says, thank you, your response has been saved. And then when I'm ready to start my application up again, I would just click resume this form now. And it will bring me back to the main page of the application. And then what I want to do is click resume a previously saved form. There's probably going to be a pop-up that says, are you sure you want to resume your previous response? Any information you just entered on this page will be discarded. And you want to click OK, even though that's a little intimidating of a message. It's also going to tell you that the page wants you to confirm that you want to leave. So then again, you want to click leave page. And then it's going to bring you to this web form that says identity check. So then you want to enter the email that you use to save your application. So I used orfsupport@nexuscp.org. And then I'm going to type in my password that I'm pretty sure I remember. And if I forget my password, then what I can do is click forgot password. And then I type in my email. And then what it's going to do is send me a link so that I can reset my password myself. That way you don't have to wait for me or anybody else on our team to reset it for you. So here, what's important is that you type in the right email. If you don't type in the right email, we won't be able to help you to recover your application, unfortunately. So just be sure to type in that email carefully, because it only asks you to type it in once, but it asks you to type in your password twice. And since I don't want to reset my password, I didn't even really begin. I'm just going to hit cancel here. And I'll go back to the home page for the application. So once you work your way through all of the information here on the main page, you figure out how to save your application. Again, we have this reminder down here for where you can reach out to us for technical assistance. So all you have to do is highlight our email, copy it, paste it into your email of choice, and then you can send us a message to get support that you may need. We'll respond as soon as we can. Once you're ready to keep going, you click next page. And in this section, we want to find out how you're applying. So are you going to apply as an individual or as a group? So let's say, just for the purpose of this application, I want to apply as a member of a group. So I'm going to click on this button right here that says group, and then it's going to ask me how many people are in my group. So let's say that it's me and Danielle applying together as a group. If you decide to apply as a group, what it means is that if your team or your group is selected for a gift from the Open Road Fund, each of you would receive $50,000 that you would then put together to work on a wealth building project together as a group. And so this is an option only for people who want to work on a wealth building project together and who want the benefit of having 2 to 5 people who all have just received $50,000 that are ready to pull that money together to work towards the common end. So I'm going to select 2. Around this section of the application, it may move a little slow because our application software will need to generate however many additional boxes for questions for members of your group. And then from there, it's going to ask the primary applicant to fill out their contact information. So if you meet with people in your family, folks in your community that want to apply together, and you, probably like many younger folks in your family, if you are younger, are the family tech person, or you're the one who is like the on-call IT for your household or for your family or for the elders in your community, you may want to consider if you want to be the primary applicant. And what that means is that you would be the first member of your group who is applying, and therefore you would be the primary contact for your group. So all of the emails, updates are probably going to go to you first, and then we will be counting on you to let the rest of your group know what's going on with the application. So if you're comfortable being in that role, what you'll do next is fill out your contact information. We are also asking for your mailing address. And then we go into the next section where we ask you to fill out a short survey to make sure that you're eligible. So I'm just going to test this out here. Let's see, who do I want to be today? I'll do Frederick Douglass. Phone number is 5555555. So you can call me whenever you want. And for my email, I'll just use ORF support. While I'm working through the application, just to give y'all a demo, please feel free to drop any questions that you may have about the application in the Q&A section. Street, I live on 101 Freedom Lane in Minneapolis. Some of y'all might know where that is. And zip code, I'll do 55406. So age. So it's really important that you type in the correct date of birth so that we can both confirm that you are eligible for the application, and also so that there's no errors on our side through our software because you put in the wrong year. Last year we had a couple people that put in the wrong date and it turned out to be negative 99 years old. We had a couple people that were 100. And if you're negative 100 years old, then you won't be able to be eligible. So just be sure to type in the date correctly. Let's see, today is the 5th, 2024. Wait, can't do that. Let me put 1980. And then I am over 14 years of age. And I am a resident of Minnesota. And I do identify as Black and as a descendant of Africans who endured the transatlantic slave trade. Never received an award, never applied, and it was going to ask me to confirm that everything I've entered is true. So please enter all of the information that we ask here correctly. Be sure to click that box. It's going to ask you to go to the next page. And then from here, we ask for demographic information about You, the primary applicant, everybody that's a member of your group. And once you all have entered all of that information, it will take you on into the next sections of the application, which speak to questions about ancestry, how you would like to use an award or use a gift from the Open Road Fund to support a wealth building project. It will give you information about how to submit your ID and any other supporting documents that you need. And then once you're done, you just hit submit and it will send your application right over to us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And now I think it's time for Q&A. So let's see, since we're doing this as a webinar, y'all won't be able to hop on the screen with us, but we can see your questions. And I'm going to both look at any open questions, and I'll also read our responses to some of the answer questions already. And anybody on our team here at Nexus, if you want to help out, feel free to hop in. So I'll also be looking for questions in the chat with the help of Danielle. So if there's anything that you want more details about, or you're not sure how to use the Q&A feature in Zoom, just type what you want to ask here in the chat and someone from our team can answer or I'll respond. So one question that I'm seeing is, can we confirm if this gift from the Open Road Fund will be considered a gift for tax purposes? And the answer to that question is yes. Every person that receives a gift from the Open Road Fund, that gift is made as a gift. It's not considered a grant, and therefore, for tax purposes, you would need to report it. You would not, actually, I shouldn't say that you would need to or not. I should say that gifts don't need to be reported on taxes. And also, you should consult with a tax professional, with your tax professional specifically, before you make the decision to report it or not. Another question that we have. Yeah, you want to read the exact, you want to read the exact wording, please?
Oh, no, I was not doing the exact wording from the thing.
Okay.
But I was going to take another
What you
question
got?
for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I see, can I apply if I'm working on a small business currently? Yes, you absolutely can, and you absolutely should. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, so just to build on Olivia's response too, the Open Road Fund is open to folks who want to apply as an individual or as a business. If you choose to apply as a business, you cannot apply again as an individual to increase your odds of getting an award. Similar to if you decide to apply as a group, you can only apply to the Open Road Fund once. So you can apply for yourself, you can apply for your business, or you can apply as a member of a group. You also cannot apply to support, establish, fund a nonprofit organization, and nonprofit organizations are not eligible to apply for the Open Road Fund. And the reason why we chose that is because all of us have had some experience of receiving a blessing or a gift, and then we immediately go to take care of people around us. And the purpose of having this gift focus on wealth building is to particularly encourage folks in our communities who do that kind of work to support people around them, to make an effort to support themselves and to stabilize themselves and to refill your own cup so that you can continue to do that for others. So let's take another question. So someone asked, do you require applicants to inform you of their income, and does income matter? So you have the option in the income section to say prefer not to answer. And for any of the responses to the demographics questions, whether that's from gender to income to life experience, you can respond, prefer not to answer to all of those things, and it will not impact your ability to be selected for an award. We ask for that information because it helps us to understand how we're reaching our community. It helps us to understand what the economic situation for our community across the region is. And you absolutely don't need to respond to that if you don't want to. Hope
And
that answers your question.
and
you
that
go
should
ahead.
also answer, no, that should also answer Jody K about if you make less than 35, would you have a better chance? You would not, for the reasons that Dwaba just explained.
Yeah. Another question that we have is, did we say that we'll review application responses before we make the decision on who is actually selected randomly? And the answer to that question is yes. So our team will review all of the responses that we receive to make sure that they are complete, that people are actually eligible. And we will also check for, or we'll investigate, I should say, applications that seem like they've been submitted by bots or hackers. And we do that to make sure that when we finally enter into the random selection process, everybody who could potentially be selected is actually eligible, is a real person, is in our region. And then after we make random selections, we'll do a second check on the people who are selected to make sure that, again, they meet our criteria for eligibility, that their application is complete, and that they have been submitted by a real person. So we have 2 levels of checks that we do to make sure that people are eligible for the fund before we move forward into announcing to them and to the rest of the community who's been selected as a finalist. And so if during the random selection process, our computer software pulls someone who we find out is actually not eligible, we will just pull another person or as many people as we need to get to 101 gift recipients for this year.
The next question I want to address is, does every person in the group have to be selected or just one? So what we do is we pull for groups specifically. And so if a group gets selected, everyone in that group gets selected.
Mm-hmm. Someone's asking, if you had a name change since you originally logged in on the first round, will that reject you in the random screening process? So I'm gonna answer this in 2 ways. So if you undergo a name change, which is a personal process and a beautiful process, all you need to do is reach out to our team at orfsupport@nexuscp.org and let us know 2 things. First, let us know the email that you use to create your application, because that just helps us to look up your application in our system. If you can't remember your email, you can give us your address, your phone number, or some other identifying information to help us to find your application in our system. And then you just let us know what you want us to change your name to. It will not impact your ability to be selected for an award from the Open Road Fund. And let me see let me make sure that I'm answering this the right way. I think the other way that I understand your question is, if I can find it again. I think the other way that
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was saying I clicked that you were done with it, so it's in the answered question.
Okay, it's in the answer section. I think the other way that I understand your question is, will changing your name disqualify you from the random selection process? And the answer to that is no, it won't. And if you need to change any of your contact information at any time, whether you're selected or once you've been selected, you may also do that, because we want to make sure that we're getting the information to where it needs to go, and that we want to get the funds to you wherever you're at, even though that may change. So let's see.
There's a question that says, is there technical assistance to help folks iron out their wealth building plan? So not in the registration portion, is what I would say. So you just come with an idea, and as long as it is aligned with the values, then you know, are eligible to keep moving forward, but we won't be available to help you decide what your wealth building plan will be.
What I'll also say to add on to Olivia is that this is so some of you may have applied for a grant program before. You might be used to that process being kind of like a standardized test where you can't share your answers with anybody. You can't get help from anybody. And that's not the case for our grant or for our gift making program. In the Open Road Fund, we encourage you to get technical support, to get consultation, to get feedback on your wealth building project idea from people in your family, from people in your community, and from trusted experts in your community who may have an idea of how to structure your plan. You don't have to fill it out alone. You can organize amongst your friends and family get-togethers where you work on the application together to make sure that everybody gets it done. And so we just want to encourage you to take advantage of any opportunities that you may have to not do this alone and to work on it with other people. And yeah, I think that's what I want to say to that one. I think we answered this question already, but someone asked, can we use money gifted from the Open Road Fund as down payment for a home? The answer to that question is absolutely yes. And in fact, some of the applicants who were selected and gifted in 2023 did exactly that. Several people used their gifts from the Open Road Fund to purchase homes by using their funding as a down payment. So you can absolutely do that. Housing is one of the main categories of wealth building project that we support. You can also use the funding to renovate your house, to rehab it. You can use it to improve existing housing that you may have access to, like a family home, to build equity, which is another form of wealth. Let's see. Let's get another good one. If you're awarded a gift from the Open Road Fund, do you have to follow up about how the money is used? Yes. So we have a mid-year check-in with everyone that we make a gift to. And part of the reason why we do that, so basically if you're awarded in this year, by July of the following year, we'll send you an email just asking you to fill out a short survey that shares your progress on the Open Road Fund project that you've designed for yourself so far. And part of why we ask that is so that we can know about any opportunities that we may have to support you in making your project successful. And it's also an opportunity for you to tell us about any additional obstacles that you may have encountered as you're working to build this plan and bring it into fruition. And beyond that, we like to be in close relationships with the folks who are gifted awards from the Open Road Fund. And so just because you get your award or your gift check from us doesn't mean that's the end of the relationship. You can reach out to us at any time for support on your project, and we will do the best that we can to connect you with the experts who should be able to help you to manifest it.
I want to address the question that says, can money be used to pay down debt? Absolutely. So the financial well-being bucket of the 5 wealth building themes is for that. It's for paying down debt. It's for making yourself stable. You can use it to get your car fixed. You can do it for a whole bunch of stuff that wouldn't be traditionally seen as like wealth building, but you got to get on your feet to get there. So yes, you can use it to pay down debt.
Okay. Looking for some more questions. So we had someone reach out who asked if they could get additional materials to promote the Open Road Fund as a community access site. So Lavasha, Shireen, would y'all want to pop on for a second and talk about what community access sites and community access partners are? Because maybe there's some folks in the audience who want to support in that way.
Sure. The community access sites, we had just had a presentation last week about community access support and also service providers, and and it could be one and the same, but the community access site is basically a space, a building, an organization, a library, salon, barbershop, etc., who would be able to offer Wi-Fi, access to Wi-Fi devices, assistance with, understanding, filling out the application, that sort of thing. And then also service providers are a more hands-on personal approach in which someone would be able to offer, for example, assistance on a bit wealth building plan. So, okay, this is what you want to do. You have your 3 points. So more personal experience, someone who has expertise in the area of home buying, for example, land trust, whatever it is that you say that your wealth building plan is, we would are trying to identify the different partners who would be able to help in the different regions to be able to do that. So yes, there's the access site, which is more so, think about that in terms of, I guess, brick and mortar, but also resource access to devices, Wi-Fi, and then the service provider, which would be more hands-on expertise to help individual, more like one-on-one clientele. So that is it. Any questions about that? Just let me know. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is, as a result of the community partner presentation that we did last week, that was also recorded and will be available on our website. But in addition to that, there is, if you on this call or know of someone, an organization who is interested in being either a community access site or a service provider, they can fill out the interest form, and I need to find that, so I could put that in the chat, but it is the community partner interest form. And so once that is filled out, and that's an ongoing thing, that'll be throughout, the 8 years that we are doing this. So you could continue that list will continue to evolve in those partnerships. Thank you.
I saw a question in the chat that was asking why the process is random, and I'm happy to respond to that one. I saw you also came off mute, Olivia. Were you seeing that one too, or did you want to respond to
I was
different?
going to respond to a different one, but it can be after this. It's a good ending.
Okay, for sure. So for us, it was really important, considering that we wanted to have everybody from, I guess not the idiots of the itty bitty, because, they got some tall 14-year-olds out there. But because we wanted to have this opportunity be open to our youth, as well as folks from all different backgrounds, people, most of our community, I think it's safe to say, has never applied for a grant program before. And of the people in our community that have applied for grants, the process for that can be very competitive. And what we know from our experience as grant makers is that the people who are often most likely to get a gift are the people who are already have a proven track record of getting grants. And so we wanted to make this process, or we wanted to make decisions about who we select for gifts from the Open Road Fund through random selection, for all of those reasons. We felt that really in an unfair setup as far as grant making goes, we felt that the most fair option in an unfair situation was to use random selection to choose from a cross section of our community, from as broad a spectrum of our community as possible with the lowest amount of bias, because there's no people that are reading and deciding who is worthy of the grant. And the moment you have 11,000 applications from people you're in community with from across the region looking at you in the face, you very quickly realize how impossible it is to choose somebody on the basis of merit in a situation like this. And so that's the main reason why we choose random selection to select people to receive gifts from the Open Road Fund. And once we make the selection and we have confirmed participation of everybody who's been selected as a finalist for the Open Road Fund, we will notify all applicants for that year. Our system of communicating that, we are always going to be working on improving, but you should be able to find out through multiple ways. The main way is going to be email. So of course, make sure that the email that you use to create your application is the correct one so that we can get that message to you. We will also let the community know through our website and through social media that the awardees or the giftees, I'm sorry, have been picked. And if you have any questions about whether or not you were selected, you can always reach out to us at our email that we've provided here.
There's a question about if you can use multiple things such as buying a home and paying off debt. Yes, you can. And when you go through the application, you'll see that it asks you what you plan to use what your wealth building plan is. And to list what most of the funds will go for as your category, but you can use it for more than one thing.
Let's do a couple more questions, and then I want to show everybody one more thing from the application, which is how to download your application after you submit it. Something that we might not have mentioned earlier is that some of us may already be working on wealth building plans or projects, and for others who are applying for the first time, this may be a great opportunity for you to come up with your million, billion, gajillion, fulfillion dollar idea, and to start getting people in your family and in your community invested in that idea. That's part of why we designed the Open Road Fund application the way that it is to support folks in our community in communicating and articulating their personal plan and strategy for how they want to build wealth for themselves. And so you may not get selected for a gift this year, but you still may want to pursue your project. And over subsequent years of the Open Road Fund, will be open until 2031, unless we get a massive infusion of cash from Beyonce or somebody else that's got deep pockets. You will be able to reuse your answers from previous years of your application in future years of the application. So that's one of the reasons why we allow folks to download their applications from previous years to use them again. And once we answer a couple more and I get this application done, the one that I started with you all, I'll be able to show you.
So there's a question in the Q&A that says, when will the next session be, and will it cover new material about the application process or a repeat of tonight? So the next info session is going to be on the 26th of this month. And it will be a repeat. So if you were here tonight, you don't need to come to the next one. There won't be any new information. There's also one that says, can two people in the same house apply as as individuals if you have different goals? And you should. All group applications have to have the same goal. They have to have the same wealth building plan. So if it's you and 3 of your neighbors or 5 of your best friends, you have to have the same wealth building plan. If they're different, then you won't get chosen. You guys have to have the same one. Duaba, do you want to work on your thing and while I answer some more of these, or do you want to hop in? How you feeling?
You pick a couple more. I'm looking for some that I want to respond to as well.
Okay, cool. So it was stated that applicants don't need to know the name of the boat to show connection to slavery. Is it an issue if the name of the boat is known and mentioned on the application? No. If you want to tell us, go ahead, for sure, tell us, let us know. And also kudos to you if you do know that's what's up. You did a lot of hard work to find that out. So definitely share. But again, you don't have to know, you just have to know how you're Black, and then, let us know how you know.
I can also share that in the ancestry section of the application, we share that it's less. I guess what's most important is that you share what you do know and who you know. Not all of us are able to know where in the continent we're from. What's important is that we know a little bit about the story of your particular family. So you are free to share within 300 words, as much as you want to share and as much as you know. The other thing that we ask as part of the ancestry section is, how are you connected to Black communities in this region? And how do you participate in Black community? That's also an important question that we ask and that we hope to see folks respond to. So even if you don't know as much as you want to know yet about your ancestry and your roots, we all know about the connection that we have day to day with our people. So feel free to share that you don't know as much as you want to know about this, but you do know how you show up for your people. And if that, oh, I'm sorry about the noise in the background. Yeah, anything that you can share is enough. So someone asked or said that statements of support seem like a barrier if someone may be estranged from their family. So with the letters of support, that will be, of course, something that you encounter if you're selected for a gift from the Open Road Fund. And any event that you are estranged from your family, some folks in our community are, and it's okay. You don't have to ask one person that's a relative to you to respond, or to write a letter of support for you. You just need to ask two people who would also be eligible for the Open Road Fund that you're in community with, or family members that aren't your immediate blood family, but are extended family or chosen family, to write a letter of support for you instead. So we don't want that to be a barrier for anybody.
There was one, and it was answered in the chat, but I just want to put it for anybody who didn't see it. So it was, are we notified if we're not selected? And the answer is yes, you get notified if you're selected, and you get notified if you're not selected, but you get notified via email. And so last year we did send out emails to everybody who was and was not selected, but we did get a lot of them bounced back. And then some people where it was in their spam or their promotion folder. So we do ask that when you apply, use an email and then check the email frequently, and make sure that you're checking your spam and your trash folders and stuff too. So
Somebody asked, can I use this to go to barber school if I get the gift? And can I use this to open a barber shop? Absolutely. So if you wanted to go to barber school, what you would want to do is select education as the primary category for your wealth building project, because you're talking about going through specialized training to work with our folks' hair. That requires getting licensure, that requires buying into a barbershop or finding a spot to open up your own, buying all of the materials, the equipment, the chairs, the decoration. So you can absolutely do that with an Open Road Fund gift. Someone also asked, can last year's awardees apply again? The answer to that question is absolutely not. You can only get a gift from the Open Road Fund once, but you can apply as many times as you want. But the moment that you get it, you're no longer eligible for the Open Road Fund. Thank you for asking that question. Can't emphasize that enough because we only have right now, unless some of y'all know Beyonce and want to get her to make a very, very large charitable donation to our organization, we only have enough resources to support 800 folks right now. And as that changes, we will definitely let y'all know because we would love to keep this project going. Let's see, we should take one more question and then I can show everybody the final step for how to download the application. You want to pick one, Olivia?
I'm just gonna pick the one that I'm seeing right now. So if you see something better after I answer this one, if you wanna end it with that, feel free. But it says, can you apply if you applied last year using the same reasoning and goals? Absolutely. Like we said, the application is different, so you can't, it's not just copy paste, it's shorter. But you can have the same reasoning, you can have the same goals, and you can apply every year that you don't win.
I see a question in the chat. This will be the last one that we answer for the evening. So someone asked, if a group of 3 is selected, are they considered one of the 100 spots or 3 of the 100 spots? They will be considered 3 of the 100 spots. So each year, we count both the number of people in groups and a number of individuals that we select for awards as part of that whole 100 number. And again, that's only because we have finite resources to redistribute. And we want to make sure that everybody in a group who is selected gets a gift of $50,000 that they then contribute to that collective project. And that will change the moment that we get more funding. So that being the last question, and if you didn't get your question answered tonight, feel free to reach out to us directly. You can send us an email to Open Road Fund Support, or you can send us an email to our general line, our general email, which we'll share in the chat. And we'll also be answering new questions that come from the audience, more than likely, on our second session. And so if there's anything that didn't get answered tonight and you want to check and see if maybe new questions emerged or you had another one that came right after you clicked off of the call, check the recording for our second info session, which will be happening on June 26th at noon. So I'm just going to take over the screen for a second. Okay, can everybody see? Everybody can see? Okay, cool. So when you finally complete your application, the last page asks you to submit your ID verification documents. Once you do that, you just click on the submit button. And if everything is completed, then you'll see this please wait. And then it'll say, thank you, your response has been processed. And then what should happen is when you come back to your application, let's say to resume your form. You should be able to download your application. But if I'm not seeing it on here right now, it's because I haven't enabled it yet from our side. And so what I'll do is enable that, and we'll record another video that will show you how to save your application, access it again, reset your password if you forget it, and download it. So we'll put that out on our website. It will also be on our YouTube channel, and we can also put it out to everybody in an email, as well as on this application to show you everything that you need to know to get your application. The other thing that you can do is, if you're not able to download your application the moment that you submit it, is you can reach out to us directly. And again, share your email that you used to sign up for the application, the name that you used on the application, any other identifying information like your address or phone number that helps us to look it up in our system. And we can send that to you so that you have the responses to your question ready to go and able to refer to them before you apply again in the coming years. So sorry about that. I thought I had it all together. I missed one thing, but I got most of it done. So now that we've shared a little bit about the application, a little bit about ourselves, and also about how the application process works and what the application looks like, we answered all or as many of the questions as we could. I think now we talk about next steps. So I will pass that to Danielle and Shireen if you have any updates or any final words that y'all want to share with folks. Looks like we're going to be ending a little early.
Yeah, that'll be just Danielle. I talked about community partners already, so thank you.
Yeah.
The next step is that the fund opens on June 19th at 9:00 a.m. So if you log on at 6 a.m., our website is not broken, it's just not open yet. So 9:00, normal business hours, I guess, on Juneteenth. And then it closes a month later on July 19th. We will have another information session during the application window. So on June 25th. Did I just get that wrong? It's June 25th, right?
June 26th.
June 26th. At 12 o'clock, from 12 to 1:30. And we will also record that as well. But if you have other folks in your life that you want to spread the word to, or if they're working on the application already, that could be a really great information session for them to attend. We will also be hosting some community care sessions for folks, as folks are grappling with the ancestry questions and emotions and feelings are coming up regarding reflecting on those questions in a way that maybe you hadn't before. You're thinking about your ancestors in a way more deeply than you've had a chance to do. We will be hosting 3 sessions between June and August of this year. And we will post when those dates and times are confirmed, but those will be online and those will be accessible to anyone that's working through the application. That's what I have for, and then also on our Instagram and our website, we're going to be out in community at a lot of different Juneteenth events, starting as soon as next week. So we will be in South Dakota and Moorhead, in Minneapolis on the South Side. The Soul of the South Side Festival will be at the Black Cooperators Conference next week in St. Paul. And so we'd love to see you out. I think we have those on our website, on our Instagram and Facebook for sure. And I think that's it for next steps.
It is. I'm just going to drop the link to our website in the chat so that you all can learn more about the Open Road Fund as you have time. Feel free to use this as a reference document. And it will also have a link to the application questions so that you can review them more closely on your own time. So that is all that we have for this evening, y'all. Thank you for making time to join us. We hope that we answered as many of the questions that you might have had. We hope that you are no longer hesitant to apply for the Open Road Fund. We look forward to reading your application this year. Please spread the word. And if you're in Sioux Falls, Fargo, Moorhead, Duluth, South Minneapolis, come see us at a Juneteenth. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Have a good night.